Allie with Potomac Beads. In this Better Beader episode, we are going to go over what to do with those extra beads. You may have just a few. You may think, I can't do anything with these beads. I have them all lying around. This is your chance to get some ideas on how to go into your stash and your stock, kind of bring out, the ones that you're not sure what to do with, combine them, mix and match them, and make them into a project all on their own without spending a dime. So project idea number one that we're going to go over is taking all of your loose and random beads and getting creative when it comes to wire working. You can make these really cool wire cuffs, and we have tutorials on all of these 7 ideas too, if you want to check those out. And this is just going to be a wire cuff using 14 or 16 gauge wire, some thinner wire like a 24 or a 22 gauge. If you want to go really thick, you can even go a 20 gauge wire. But just figure out a length of space that you want to use up some of those random odd and end beads. You can see here that there's kind of no rhyme or reason to the pattern and what beads are being used when. And this could be completely varied, going and just making sure that whatever beads and bead grouping you use make the same amount of distance. So in this case here, right about an inch, 3/4 of an inch worth of beads, and wrap, add some beads, wrap, add some beads, going down the bracelet and creating a nice cuff. This is a wire working example, but you can also do just a single wire working example using about 14 gauge wire and wire along that item as well. The next idea, number 2, is going to touch on what to do when you have just a little random amount of seed beads left. One thing that you can do is a easy, simple beaded bead. And this is just taking thread through a bead, whether or not it's a clear acrylic bead like this, or a bead that you already have, maybe a lampwork bead that you're just not crazy about, and cover the entire thing. This can then be used on one of those wire wrapped bracelets. It can be used on memory wire, something like that, but you can use just a small amount of beads. Again, random seed beads that you might only have just a little tiny bit left, 20 beads here and there, or you may even have a random bag. I know everyone does. A random bag with all of these beads mixed up together. Take them out, no rhyme or reason, pick them up, and you can actually do a beaded bead with that as option number 2. Option number 3, which again can be done at any time and using any beads, are kind of held together to the design by having something that is consistent throughout. In this case here, I have a silver round, different sizes, throughout the entire bracelet, spacing out some different beads. Whether or not it has bead caps on it or littler beads in between, has some gemstones, has some glass beads, crystals, and pearls. Really just have fun playing with that color combination, thinking of what beads go with what, even if you want to kind of think of a verse or think of something and kind of create based on a poem, based on a verse, something like that. And pick out beads to kind of go along with the way that you're feeling if you want to, but tying them together with a similar sized or a similar type of bead throughout the bracelet will make even a mismatched bracelet like this really wearable and a great idea for number 3. The number 4 winner for getting rid of kind of those random beads is to go crazy. Have fun creating a base, whether or not it's something like this English garden bracelet, that you have this fun base that's super easy, but then go back and design and create fringe. You can look up any YouTube videos that we've done for fringe and realize that some of the best fringe designs don't have the same beads throughout the entire piece. It goes more on a color scale. So if you have tons of browns, tons of golds, mix and match those last little tidbits of beads, 5 beads here, 6 beads there, and decorate a piece. Whether or not you want to go crazy fringe like this, or say the Weeping Cherries necklace if you want to check that one out, you can always have fun adding to the piece. Additionally, take a piece that you might not wear a lot, for this is a second part of number 4. If you have a ladder stitch piece, a peyote piece, a looming piece you don't wear a ton, pick up some random beads that you might have. I actually did this also in the working with one of the other stitches and decorating peyote stitch. Basically create a fringe as well, just a couple beads here and there, and add them to the base. This is all based on that idea of creating the base and then adding the fringe on top of it. Random beads look fantastic for this, and you can really have fun adding to a brand new piece or even updating a pre-existing piece that you may have had. Going along and expanding on the idea of taking some random beads and stringing them together, just like I did for number 3. Number 5 is taking that same idea and working it in as a multi-strand bead. So you may have a subscription box, you may have gotten some of our grab bags, or you've had a project and then you don't know what to do with the last couple that are left over. Take the pegos here and multiple 2-hole beads and just do a simple strung or multi-wrap bracelet. Did a whole video on this, like Kim Marie's designs here, on the odds and end bracelet, that you take your 2-hole beads and just with 2 needles, string straight down through that 2-hole beads, make a single or a double wrap, and you'd be surprised by the amount of compliments that you'll get on these very random odds and ends bracelets that have just your 2-hole beads done in a simple strung fashion. If you're not into seed beading, you can also do this with beading wire. Taking the beads down with the beading wire and just stringing straight along the edge as well. You do not need thread and needle skills to do this. You can use a lot of these 2-hole beads just simply strung, whether or not it's a bracelet, a double wrap, triple wrap, or even a necklace or a watch band, using it in this same idea of just a very, very simple strung multi-hole bracelet. For number 6, I'm also going to suggest that you do a necklace. This is called the illusion necklace, which is going to have the beads kind of floating along this beading wire. Crimp beads are used on either end, and you can mix and match tons and tons of different beads. If you're using 2-hole beads, same thing. You can go through 2 holes and have 2 strands going through. You can use a ton of 1-hole bead. This one here is a mixture of all different gemstones and a little bit of check glass thrown in there. Don't be afraid to, again, mix and match some of those different materials to create a really fun and funky necklace. I actually wear this piece a lot because, again, it matches with everything and it really has some great character to it just with the multi-sizes, the multi-shapes, and there's even a lot of one-of-a-kind beads that are literally only one kind of orphan along this lines of this illusion necklace. To wrap out number 7, I have here my leather wrap bracelet. This is a Chandlu style bracelet that is done with leather cording, some macrame, and doing micro macrame. There's a video that I have featuring this one, as well as a purple one that I did in the video. I wear this bracelet more than any other bracelet. Same with the one going back that had gemstones, crystals, and the silver rounds. They're kind of my staple pieces. A lot of these ends and odds and ends bracelets and necklaces are going to be ones that I wear the most frequently because of that kind of oddball combinations or color combinations that allow you to wear it with a lot of different designs. If you have a bunch of smaller beads left, think about doing a micro macrame multi-wrap bracelet in this same idea of mixing up the colors. Most times you can have those odds and ends in the same color range. Think of a kind of a theme, go with it, pile up the beads, move them all around, whether or not you're doing a basic strung bracelet on stretchy string using beading wire or even doing memory wire. You can also up your game by learning and doing some of this micro macrame and that leather wrap. You don't need a ton of materials to do this, and you can do it not only with 1 hole, but with 2-hole beads as well. So you can get more creative, and again, we have more videos for that. So the hardest part of this Better Beader episode was keeping it to 7 ideas. I don't want to overwhelm people and offer 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and so on. But keep in mind also to look around where beads are included. There's a lot of decor, decoration, as well as seasonal items that you can add some of your bead stash to, making napkin holders, candle vase holders. You can also make some coasters, have fun making bookmarks, book bag hangers, and tons of other project ideas with a lot of those odds and ends. The odds and ends too, whether or not they are multi-hole or 1-hole, are great to introduce when you're working or getting somebody new into the craft, to get them introduced while not feeling like they're taking a ton of your stock and not having them feel like they're putting a huge kind of bump in your budget, that they are using, again, the odds and ends. Check out that odds and ends video if you do want to see how to do that multi-strand bracelet with a bunch of random beads. And then also look at the videos mentioned in this Better Beader episode. There are always so many options to get you started and to keep you entertained in the beading world. Some of these options may not be things that you are as excited about, like wire working or the micro macrame, but give it a try. Try out using up some of that stash that you know that has been sitting there forever. Turn it around or even add it as fringe to maybe a pre-existing piece. As always with these Better Beader episodes, our desire is to make you a better beader. And that being said, you can click in the bottom corner in that little bell to get regular updates for us when we have these Better Beader episodes come out, as well as to get information on the latest, greatest, and new patterns from PotomacBeads. If you need any materials to help you along the lines to add to that overwhelming stock that you might have, remember you can always shop online with us at PotomacBeads.com and PotomacBeads.eu. So, in order to de-stash and to get rid of some of the stock that's been there for a while, try out some of these 7 ideas and 7 techniques. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and have fun beading.